So, good evening. Welcome to the session. We are studying Annie Besant's book, The Man and His Bodies. And if you remember, we are not doing this. We are not studying on a line by line, word by word basis. We are sort of doing a summary and reading some selected parts. So the last time right now this current chapter is on the physical body. Okay, just as a quick reminder, we are talking about the. Let me share this screen. So we are talking about the various bodies, and now out of that, the physical body and the etheric body or the etheric double are the ones that we are talking about, and we know that these bodies are all made up of matter, different grades of matter. So the different bodies have different grades of matter, and these different grades are coming from the different planes of nature. Yeah. And the body we are talking about currently is the physical body. Right now, we are talking about the gross physical body or the dense physical body, which has solid particles, liquid particles, and gaseous particles. And then later next chapter will be on the etheric double. Yeah, this is just as a way of recap, and maybe if you are joining for the first time. So I think we were on page 22. And again, as a sort of a quick recap, we were talking about, we were on page 22. Yeah, okay. One point that had been made was that it is important this gross physical body is also called the Annamay Kosha in Sanskrit, meaning that it is made up of the food particles that we eat. So therefore, it is important to be careful about what we are eating, है ना? And we had talked about sattvic food. So sattvic खाना खाइए, वो ज़्यादा अच्छा रहेगा, because then your particles will be of the body will be more refined, and we saw that it helps us in our spiritual progress. Yeah, but again, a slight what should I say? A slight qualification. One should not get obsessed with food. I will eat this, I will not eat that, because in the end, the quality of the food has effect, but it is a limited effect. So I think Master Choa has given a very practical guidance on this. He says, avoid animal bodies, like, non-veg, what is called non-vegetarian food. Usko avoid kariye. Don't eat meat of any kind, any animal food. Don't have things like wine and alcohol and beer and so on. Don't consume tobacco, things like that. So, but otherwise, don't get too obsessed with, oh, I will eat this, I will not this, because I have friends who I know have sometimes come back hungry from a from a lavish dinner, because मैं तो प्याज नहीं खाता, मैं तो लहसुन नहीं खाता, I can't eat this and I don't want to eat this. So the effect is limited. It's not. So Master has actually said a very, very beautiful thing. And may I request, please think about it. है ना, इसको meditate कीजिएगा. Master says, somewhere he says, what comes out of the mind and the mouth is more important than what goes in. What comes out is more important than what goes in. समझ रहे हैं आप? Now, what is he trying to tell us? I think what Master is trying to tell us is that we have awareness, we have will. Even if I'm eating food that is not completely sattvic, I have will. I can still regulate and improve the quality of my mind, of my other bodies. I hope you're understanding. Yeah. Okay, let's go on. So we are on page 22 near the end. The points, I'll just quickly summarize for the next 4 pages. What they are talking about is it is important that I am in control of my body and not vice versa. I choose how the body works and not vice versa. So there is a story of a saint who is trying to meditate, but the body is saying, "Oh, I'm hungry, I'm hungry." So he tells the body, "Shut up," or, "Be quiet, be silent. I will feed you later." He is exercising control over his body. His body is not controlling him, he is controlling the body. You know, Also, another point that is being made here is that by improving the quality of the food and things like that, you can, of course, improve slowly it's a fact that the cells of the physical body, they are constantly being destroyed and new ones are being made. I hope you are aware of this. Every 7 years, every cell in the body has been replaced. समझ रहे हैं आप? So if you are patient and you say, okay, from today I will be careful of what I eat, in 7 years my body will be much better. There are faster ways also. And again, I refer to Master Choa's guidance. He has given us the arhatic techniques. In arhatic techniques, especially in pillar 2 and pillar 3, specifically, we are given ways to purify the bodies faster, including the physical body. So one thing, of course, we must do is we must avoid foods that bring dirty particles into the physical body. And here in the book, they are talking very strongly about alcohol. And they explain that alcohol, if we bring in alcohol into our body, that alcohol tends to attract invisible beings who we call elementals. And if you have done the psychotherapy class, pranic psychotherapy class, then you are already introduced to elementals. If you've done the psychotherapy or read the psychotherapy book, uske andar. So the result then is that the physical body becomes dull and coarse. स्थूल हो जाती है और उसमें हायर वाइब्रेशंस नहीं हो पाते. एंड स्पिरिचुअल डेवलपमेंट इज ऑल अबाउट हायर vibrations. And similarly, there is warning that you should not eat animal or fish based, foods. So we'll just quickly see. I've marked some sections. We can read them. Page 23, a second line from the top. Personal verification of superphysical facts depends on the complete subjection of the physical body to the owner. What she's saying is, if you want to have spiritual experiences, you must get in control of the body. If you allow the body to control you, it is difficult to have these spiritual experiences. Then the same page on the last paragraph. Let us suppose that a man deliberately decides to purify his body. He either takes advantage of the fact that it changes completely in 7 years, or he chooses the shorter and more difficult path of changing it more rapidly. This is what I was talking about. For example, the erratic practices, or for example, Hatha Yoga practices. In either case, he will begin at once to select the materials from which the new body is to be built, and the question of diet will present itself. So then diet will become an important topic to address. Okay, then there is a long discussion on the effect of alcohol. So I think we've sort of summarized that broadly. I expect that you know that. There are some words used here which are, not of daily use. For example, on page 25, there is profligate bodies. So profligate means wasteful or undisciplined. Anyway, let's come to page 26, the first para, the last part. True, no amount of attention paid to the physical body will of itself give a person spiritual life. Important point. But why should he hamper himself with an impure body? Why should he allow his powers, whether great or small, to be limited in their attempts to manifest by this needlessly imperfect instrument? So, important point here that yes, just by physical effort or just by working on the physical body, we cannot attain moksha, we cannot attain yoga. the highest goal, which is union with the higher soul, which is union with the divine spark. Perhaps not possible. But if the body is not up to the mark, it will slow our progress down. So why do that? When we can control it, when we can improve it, why not make it a fit thing for the, for our spiritual progress? Therefore, for all of this, what we have to keep in mind, back of the mind, is purpose of life. What is purpose of life? Purpose of life is spiritual progress, to attain moksha. Because all of everything we are studying, I think you should see in that light. Okay, next page, page 27. Somewhere in the middle, I've marked a section, but as the normally healthy body. Can you see that section? Can you see that line? But as the normally healthy body gives no soil in which disease microbes can germinate, so the clean body offers no soil for these impure particles to grow. So in this entire long paragraph, Madam Annie Besant has warned about, even if you are not consuming, if these pubs and bars, they are in your, and even these butcher houses and so on, if they are in your vicinity, those particles are in the environment and they can still get attracted to your body. But if your body is made up of purer, cleaner particles, you are they will come to you, but they will not get absorbed by you. They will not become a part of your body. So essentially, she's saying there is a threat from external influences from the environment. But if we are able to have a purer, cleaner body, there is no space for them to attach. There's no scope. It's like a stronger immune system. Germs are everywhere, but my immune system is strong. I am not affected. And last time I talked about the Advanced Pranic Healing book, the chapter on preventive healing. Small request, please do read that. Please do read that. And in fact, I would suggest you should read it again and again. Because there's a master has given a lot of guidance and it is easy to forget that, easy to overlook that. है ना, बड़ा आसानी से हम उसको ओवरलुक कर देते हैं, तो वो थोड़ा सा, if it is in our active memory, we are more likely to stay healthy, and even if we fall sick, to recover faster. All right, next page, first paragraph, the last line I had marked. Let's read that. The more resolutely we refuse to put into the body anything unclean, the more shall we be fortified against attacks from without. Same thing, the same thing that we read earlier. Yeah, in the next paragraph, there she's talking about she's giving one warning. What is that? That if you do spiritual practices and your body is very impure, it can cause problems. It can cause difficulties, it can cause health issues, and so on. It can even cause illness. Master has also mentioned that. I think in most of his healing books, I remember definitely his mentioning it in the basic pranic healing book, that the body can fall sick. So where he gives the guidance of diet. Also, if you do Arhatic Yoga, Master has explained, and it is explained in great detail, the Kundalini syndrome, which can have physical effect, which can have emotional effect or psychological effect, relationship effect, prosperity effects, and other effects at different levels. The last paragraph of page 28. As a matter of fact, the body does not very much care in the long run what you give it, provided that you give it something that will keep it in health, and it will accommodate itself in a short time to any form of pure and nutritious food that you choose to adopt. Now, this is where, in this entire page now, page 29, she's talking about it is not difficult to change the body's appetites, so that maybe you were used to more tamasic food, Now you are switching to sattvic food. In a short while, your body will adapt. What she's saying is the physical body is a creature of habit. इसको आदत से मजबूर है, पर वो आदत बदली जा सकती है. The habit can be changed and it is not hard. So if you start now developing the habit of only having sattvic food, slowly the body will get used to it. I think I gave you my personal, I don't know if I gave you, let me give it again. I used to eat non-vegetarian food. When I stopped and didn't eat it for some time, then once in a flight, I got by mistake a piece of, animal food. And when I put it on my mouth, I immediately realized there was a problem because it was, I felt like I had put a burning coal on my tongue. It tasted so different. So the body had sort of got over that old habit and adopted the new taste for food. I would say taste or appetite or liking for food. All right. On the same page, the last line, page 29, the last line. Habit can be used to help or to hinder. And the body yields when it understands you are the master and you do not intend your life's purpose to be thwarted by the mere instrument that is yours for use. So again, importance of first of all being clear in the mind, I am not the body. The body is an instrument for me. Who's the boss? I, the soul, am the boss. The body is an instrument. I cannot let the body take control. So she's saying that the body will learn, will adapt. It will adapt. It will resist maybe in the beginning because there are some old habits. But once you have formed the new habits, things will go well. Let's read on further. Page 30. The truth is, it is not the body itself which is chiefly at fault, but kama, the desire nature. Kam here is a Sanskrit word. It means desire or, likings, dislikings, and so on. So basically, we have developed some tastes or some likes and dislikes with vis-a-vis. Here we are talking about food. So that is the problem. You see, it's the desire. The body gets used to something because our desires are driving the body to that. So the idea is to break the desire or to, overcome the desire. And, again, let me remind you, the one of the purposes, stated purposes of Arhatic Yoga is to help us come in control of our desires, of our emotional body. And then further in this same paragraph, she talks a very important point. You see, children, when they are born, they have very pure bodies, very pure, what should I say, tastes and desires. And they can easily be adapted to sattvic desires. But unfortunately, a lot of times the adults force them into eating, for example, meat. And she gives an example of their being given wine or alcohol to taste. So I think that is a good thing to avoid. It's a good warning. One should not do that. Last line on this page. In spite of all this in the past, make the change. And as you get rid of the particles that crave these impurities, you will feel your body altering its habits and revolting against the very smell of the things that it used to enjoy. The real difficulty in the way of the reformation lies in karma, not in the body. You do not want to do it. If you did, you would do it. The thing she's trying to tell us is the resistance comes from our desires. We don't want to change. So we listen to all the lecture about going to switching over to sattvic food, but then the thought of burger and mouth starts watering or whatever. I mean, burger may not necessarily be unhealthy, but something, fried food or something. So that, for example, I still have a lot of weaknesses. So when it rains, it's not raining right now, but when it rains, I have this desire for pakode, somehow it is an association. Not justifying it, but that's how it is. So I have to work on that desire if I if I want to resist it. Yeah. The last two sentences on the same page. If the price for giving up unclean food were £1,000,000 at the end of a year, how soon would difficulties disappear and ways be found for keeping the body alive without meat and wine, or food that we enjoy? But when the priceless treasures of the higher life are offered, the difficulties are insuperable. Insuperable means impossible to overcome, not possible to overcome. So she's giving a very practical insight here. Ki, you see, unfortunately, for most of us, spiritual progress is not sufficient motivation. Imagine you could create a strong desire for spiritual growth. है ना, आपकी जो काम है वो उसमें इन्वॉल्व हो जाता, मुझे तो करना है, मुझे तो करना है, मुझे आई वांट टू डू इट, आई मस्ट डू इट, आई that unfortunately lacks. So money can motivate us. If somebody says, "Oh, you will get, I will give you £1,000,000." Pounds here, I'm so. I think most of these theosophists lived in England, so they talk in English terms. So pounds is the currency of England. So वहाँ की बात कर रहे हैं. So this is a lot of money. So if somebody were to give me that motivation of a lot of money, perhaps it will be very motivating. But the motivation of spiritual progress, unfortunately, what one Guruji says, most of us are 50-50. 50-50 meaning 50-50. Mane, yes, we are interested, but no, we are not that serious. You see, that is the problem. That is what the last page is, page 32, last page of this chapter. Most of us are, unfortunately, including myself, not completely committed. We are not that serious or sincere or dedicated about spiritual development. It's a little half-hearted. जब तक इजी है, कन्वीनियंट है, कंफर्टेबल है, यस यस, आई मस्ट डू माई स्पिरिचुअल प्रैक्टिस. Any difficulty comes, any pain, discomfort comes, I have to give up some pleasant habits. Then sometimes our motivation is not enough. But if we were to work on our spiritual progress with dedication in a sustained way, progress is guaranteed. I think this is what she's telling us on the last page. I'll just read the middle paragraph. The man who is in earnest. Now again, man, woman, not an issue. Don't get confused. The man who is in earnest, not spasmodically, but with steady persistence. Spasmodically means, what should I say? Intermittently. So not intermittently, but with steady persistence, matlab with regularity, can make what progress he chooses. While the man who's making believe, what she's talking about here is, yeah, I would like to say that I do my spiritual practices. I would like to believe that I am very committed, but actually I'm just fooling myself. Will run round and round the treadmill for many a life to come. So yes, try some spirituality. Then it's like a treadmill. Get on the treadmill, get off. Then get on, then get off. Like I said, 50-50. So that will not really lead us to uh, good results. Here, at any rate, in this purification of the body lies the preparation for all yoga practice. So it's important. Again, we had talked about this earlier also. You are not guaranteed moksha just by working on the physical body, but it helps. And if you don't do it, it slows you down. Not the whole preparation, most certainly, but an essential part of it. Yes. So with that, shall we? Okay, it's almost time. So I think we can end here. It's a good place to end because it's the end of a chapter.